So welcome to everyone to our Bhagavad-gītā class. Nice that all of you are here. Hare Krishna. Let us begin right away. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Let us offer our most humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Krishna Dvaipayan Vyasadeva. Let us also offer our most humble obeisances at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and to his eternal associate, Sri Arjuna, and all the other eternal associates of the Supreme Lord. Let us also offer our most humble respects to the book, Sri Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, and at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. May they bless us that we are able to then take to heart these wonderful instructions Krishna gives to Arjuna, and with the same spirit of devotion that Arjuna receives it. May we also be blessed to do so. We're reading from Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, chapter 11, verse 40, the universal form. Namaḥ,
Namaha
purastād, atha,
atha
pṛṣṭhatas, te namaḥ purastād, atha pṛṣṭhatas te.
namaha purastād
Namo
namo
astu
astu
te sarvata
sarvata
eva
eva
sarva
sarva
namostu te sarvata eva sarva
namo te sarvata eva sarva
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas
tvam
tvam
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam
sarvam
sarvam
samāpnoṣi
samāpnoṣi
tato
tato
asi
asi
sarvaḥ
sarvaḥ
sarvam samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvaḥ
sarvam sapnosi tatosi sarvam
namaḥ purastād atha pṛṣṭhaste
namaha purastād atha pṛṣṭhatas
namostu te sarvata eva sarva
namostu te sarvata eva sarva
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam
sarvam samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvaḥ
sarvam samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvam
namaḥ purastād atha pṛṣṭhataste
namaha purastād atha pṛṣṭhatas
namostu te sarvata eva sarva
Namostute sarvata eva
sarva
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas
amita-vikramaḥ
sarvam samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvaḥ
sarvam
sarvam
samāpnoṣi
samāpnoṣi
sarvam
namaḥ purastād atha pṛṣṭhataste
namaḥ pṛṣṭhatas
namostu te sarvata eva sarva
namostute sarvata eva
sarva
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam
ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas
sarvam samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvaḥ
sarvam
sarvam
samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvam.
Please read.
Namaḥ, offering obeisances, purastād from the front, atha also, pṛṣṭhatāḥ from behind, te you, nama astu, offer my respects, te unto you, sarvata from all sides, eva sarva, because you are everything, ananta-vīrya, unlimited potency, amita-vikramaḥ, unlimited force, tvam you, sarvam everything, samāpnoṣi covered, tato asi, therefore you are, sarva everything. Translation: Obeisances from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Purport: out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend, Arjuna is offering his respects from all sides. He is accepting that he is a master of all potencies and all prowess, and far superior to all the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Viṣṇu Purāṇa, Yo ayam tavagato deva-samīpaṁ devatā-gaṇaḥ tvam eva jagat-sraṣṭā yata sarva-gato bhavan. Whoever comes before you, be he a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Namaḥ purastād atha pṛṣṭhatas te namostu te sarvata eva sarva ananta-vīryāmita-vikramas tvam sarvam samāpnoṣi tatosi sarvaḥ. Obeisance from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all-pervading, and thus you are everything. Obeisance from the front, from behind, from all sides, it doesn't matter. Because you're absolute, because you're transcendental, there's no difference between your front and your back, from your sides and your top, bottom. No. This is because you possess a transcendental body. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Form. Your entire form, from any side, is Satchit Ananda. So therefore, I offer my obeisance to you from all directions. Because what is natural is that everyone comes and offers the obeisances from the front at your feet. That is the general course of action. That's the general way a person offers his obeisances. In your front and at your lotus feet. But some or the other, especially now after having seen the disclosure of your Virat Roop, universal form, I have realized that simply by offering you obeisances in the general way that people do is not sufficient. My heart is not feeling that satisfaction that I have offered you enough. I am doing this for my own satisfaction because you are absolute truth. You have always been absolute and transcendental. It's not that now, because of having seen your universal form, that you have suddenly become transcendental and extraordinary. No, we've always been like that, my Lord. It is only my ignorance. I am realizing all this right now. My ignorance. So therefore, in my ignorance, I have neglected understanding you in full. But now, by the revelation of your transcendental universal form, I realize one side of you that I never knew existed. You are the Supreme Lord. Therefore, both positive and negative exists in you. What it means is that the negative doesn't exist in you, but the absence of you is the negative. But you are everywhere, so there is no absence of you. Yet you have given the power to your material nature, which is your potency, your innate inherent potency. This Maya Shakti is Daiva Shakti. You yourself have termed your Maya as Daivihi Yashugunomai Mamo Maya Gurudaya. So therefore, you have given the power to Maya Devi to cover the vision. Maya Devi cannot cover your potency, your prowess, your all-pervasive nature. You cannot cover it. It is like the sun cannot be covered, but a cloud can cover our vision of the sun. Because of the cloud in front of me, I cannot see the sun, but that doesn't mean that the sun has been covered. Rather, my vision has been covered. So therefore, and now you have shown me this aspect, and it has got me thinking that in the material world, in the world of phenomena, you, by the potency of your own energy, are able to manifest yourself in such a manner that you are able to show the negative side of your creation. That you have to do that. As well as the positive side is always there. So now, I am offering my obeisances from all sides because I cannot otherwise feel fully satisfied of having you offered sufficient respect and obeisances. Because you are eternally supreme, and therefore, this is my offering, this is my prayer to you. that, oh Lord, from all sides I'm offering obeisances because you are that personality, is supreme in every way, in every respect. Then it says that, it is a quotation by Srila Prabhupada. But before that, Prabhupada is saying, out of loving ecstasy for Krishna. Arjuna is saying this, bringing this prayer out of loving ecstasy for Krishna. He became so ecstatic to see this wonderful universal form and to realize that the Lord is unlimited. And therefore, in his friendship and intimacy with Krishna, Arjuna never even realized that the Lord was having this facet of his. Never realized. Now, once again, he becomes aware of the unlimited nature of the Supreme Lord. Unlimited. So therefore, out of ecstasy, because a devotee never comes to know Krishna fully. Impossible. And each time, the Lord, out of his mercy, reveals another aspect of his, another facet of his, which is also absolute, but which was unknown to the devotee. He experiences loving ecstasy. Oh Lord, so wonderful, so beautiful, that all this exists in you in such a harmonious manner. Ordinary people will think that these are polemics, these are extremes, something that can never be harmonized. How can the universal form be harmonized with that beautiful form of yours, where the gopis are telling Radharani, Radharani, don't go to the bank of the Jamuna in the night, on the full moon night, because if you see that form standing there with three bent, playing on his flute, he will never come back to your home. So don't go there. And this universal form that you have shown, how can you harmonize the two? That is the ecstasy that Arjuna is experiencing. So, question and answer today. We have a question and answer session.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Many people have said in different forums that just to preach the knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna wanted to have a Mahabharata battle. Is it true?
Well, Krishna wanted to have the Mahabharata battle.
Yeah, so that he can preach the knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā to Arjuna and thereby to all the living entities.
Yes, that is a fact. Because the highlight of Mahabharata is the Bhagavad-gītā. Because the Bhagavad-gītā is the condensed form of the knowledge that has been propagated, broadcast in the Mahabharata, the entire Mahabharata. It is known, that's why it is known as the fifth Veda. It belongs to the genre of Veda scriptures. But the instructions and wonderful truths and principles have been spread over the entire dramatic unfolding of the historical events of Mahabharata and interspersed with knowledge. And therefore, the Bhagavad-gītā is a compilation of all this knowledge that has been broadcast in the entire Bhagavad and Mahabharata, so that we can focus on the essentials and the essential knowledge and essential wisdom. So, Bhagavad-gītā. And Krishna truly wanted to speak the Bhagavad-gītā. But it is not a fact that the knowledge that we have from the Bhagavad-gītā is not available in the entire Mahabharata. That should not be misunderstood. What is in the Bhagavad-gītā is in the entire Mahabharata.
When Krishna told this knowledge to Sun God, was there any particular situation like that we had at the time of Mahabharata?
Whether it had or not has not been said, so we can't really speculate on that. However, one thing is in common, that Viṣṇu was a Raja Rishi, Rajarshi. And Arjuna is also Rajarshi. So therefore, the element of chivalry and battle is surely to be there. But in what form, that we are not quite aware of.
One thing is there that Krishna says to Arjun that you are my devotee and my friend, and that's the reason I am revealing this supreme secret. But actually, if this is the criteria, then how come this whole knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā was spread into general masses?
Yeah, the general masses would still not understand without the help of a pure devotee. That is why it is what is known as an open secret. Open secret.
Yes. Srila Prabhupada mentions in Bhagavad-gītā that everyone has a particular relationship with the Supreme Lord, evoked by the perfection of devotional service. What does it actually mean?
Well, every individual has something unique. And this unique feature of every individual finds full expression through the process of bhakti.
What is this uniqueness actually? I don't understand this.
Well, my tendencies are completely different from any others.
Okay.
The tendencies that each one has. And that is not from this birth only the tendency we are talking about. At the very onset, so at the time of the generating, when we were generated from the transcendental body of Mahavishnu, each one had a particular unique feature. And what exactly that is, that every individual will know. And Krishna will know that. And because Krishna knows, So therefore, he is able to satisfy the inner desire of fulfillment of that particular devotee, that unique feature that only Krishna as Paramatma knows anyway.
So after evoking one's own bhakti, pure bhakti, one can understand its own uniqueness.
Yes, he may not be able to understand his own uniqueness as something separate from others, but he certainly knows what he desires. That he knows. But he cannot compare, because this is something absolutely subliminal. Nobody can know the uniqueness of the others.
Yes.
But yes, but the Krishna is able to fulfill that, and being fulfilled, the devotee is fully satisfied and is able to have a reciprocal loving relationship with Krishna, as well as with the others. Because in the spiritual world, it's not just me and Krishna, not at all. Although it is possible, sometimes Krishna can personally reciprocate, but it is also Krishna's desire that his eternal associate, Nitya-siddhas, are also served, just like Krishna is more pleased and satisfied when somebody serves Radharani, or somebody serves Yashodamai, somebody serves Shubal, Siddham, Sudam. These similarly, at times also Krishna is personally reciprocating to all the residents of Vraja. But at the same time, he desires that everyone also serves also the eternal associates of the Lord.
Yes. The reciprocity that Krishna offers to his devotee, and since we know ye atha mam prapadyante, so by that reciprocity, one can understand one's own tendencies, isn't it?
Yes, but own tendencies he understands, but not in comparison to others.
Okay. One thing I came across, that one who perceives the qualities of Krishna as different from him pursues only those qualities and ends up in the material world.
Yes, because he's actually, by pursuing those qualities which are in him, he is actually serving himself.
Yes. And he doesn't serve Krishna.
He doesn't serve Krishna.
Yeah. Yes. There is one question I have. I really don't know how to formulate, but it is like this: that Sridhar Swami has quoted in Srimad Bhagavatam one place, and he says that Sukham aham aswapsam na kinchit avedisam, and that means I slept happily and was not aware of anything. And Sridhar Swami, in his commentary in Srimad Bhagavatam, he means to say that the soul experiences during deep sleep while mind, intellect, and ahankar are not functioning. What does it mean?
Tell me the last part, repeat the last part, because I couldn't hear you properly.
Okay. Actually, Sridhar Swami, in his commentary...
No, that I understood. Only the last part, that is deep sleep.
Okay, I repeat it. The soul experiences during deep sleep while mind, intellect, and ahankar are not functioning.
Are not?
Functioning.
What is that?
Functioning is not functioning.
Not functioning.
Yeah.
Oh, in deep sleep, it does not function. The intellect, mind, and ego.
Ahankar, yes.
Yes. That is because of deep forgetfulness. So, which is the condition of the different rocks, and even the trees and things can come under that category.
So in deep sleep, if I'm dreaming, then
in deep sleep, one does not dream in deep sleep.
Oh, yes.
Because we go through three levels of consciousness. One is awakened state, the other is dream state, and the other is deep stupor. So in deep stupor, there's complete forgetfulness, like the trees and rocks. The dream state is, we sometimes remember things, sometimes not. But a dream state is also compared to the devotees in illusion. Like they're going through life in covered by illusion, and that is the dream state. And awakened state is when one awakens to the reality that Aham Brahmasmi, and further realization. So these are the three levels of consciousness. Shushupti, Swapna, and Jagrata. Shushupti is deep slumber. Swapna state is dream state, and Jagrata.
I came across a term called Vishesh.
What?
Vishesh.
Vishesh.
Yeah, and this word has been defined. Vishesh is the power of objects, distinguish their being from their qualities. I mean, Vishesh is the power of objects to distinguish their being from their qualities. What does it mean?
Their being from their quality means that in a state of illusion, the being is different from his qualities. Because in illusion, he is experiencing the results of his karma, which is not his actual qualities.
In one context, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, he writes that the words spoken by Dhritarashtra and others in the Gita were written by Vedavyas to create continuity in the work. However, those words also become equivalent to the Lord's words, just as all objects falling in a salt mine become salty. Here, the words spoken by others are on the same status as Krishna's words. How is that?
Well, we have to understand that Vyasadeva is an empowered incarnation. So he's an incarnation. He's Krishna himself to that, to execute this work of writing. So he is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So for his words are non-different from Krishna's words. And since he has Krishna has revealed everything to him. Krishna has revealed. He had gone into a state of trance, and in a state of trance, he was revealed all the knowledge about the spiritual as well as the material world. And in that sense, all the words of Vyasadeva, they are the words of Krishna, because the Vedas is the revelation and words spoken by the Krishna himself, but it was written down by Srila Vyasadeva. So therefore, Dhritarashtra's words, especially pertaining to the Kurukshetra war, where the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken, Krishna put, as Paramatma, put these words in the mouth of Dhritarashtra. So they were actually Krishna's words, but it was Paramatma who was dictating Dhritarashtra to speak these words.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Haribol.
Haribol. There's the book by Srila Maharaj, which is called Subjective Evolution of Consciousness. And I want to ask about this term, what it actually means. Especially this word evolution. Is it meant with this word evolution the removal of the coverings of ignorance, or is there anything which has to be developed which was not there before?
No, it was there, but it was covered, and one evolves out of ignorance and finds his true spirit, true nature, true calling. So that is the evolution. It is called the evolution of the mind, consciousness. That is why it is called the evolution of consciousness. The consciousness of the conditioned soul is fully under the control of illusion. But the consciousness in its pure state is fully transcendental. So the process of evolution is from illusion to transcendence.
So this means, Gurudev, that the consciousness remains always pure even in the conditioned state? It's just
yes. It's only covered. Yes.
And Maharaj speaks about the subjective world as the spiritual world. And I want to understand, why is he calling only the spiritual world like this? Is the material world not also subjective?
No, because the material world cannot be subjective, because I am not experiencing this material world with my real ego as my real self. So the experience of this material world is through the false ego, which is another personality altogether, a personality given to us as a result of our karma. So therefore, this cannot be really subjective. Whereas the spiritual world we experience with our true nature and true ego. Therefore, that is the subjective world.
I understand. Thank you, Gurudev. And I want to ask about the eagerness to receive mercy. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it is stated that pure devotional service cannot be attained by anything, pious activities, for millions of births. It can be purchased only by paying one price, intense eagerness. So my first question is, how can we be eager for something which is unknown to us?
It is unknown, but not foreign. It is unknown because we haven't yet discovered it, but it is there. It is our true nature. It is not foreign. We don't have to wait for it to be injected into us. It is already there. So we have to understand the difference between something which is foreign to us and something which has to be discovered. That natural tendency has to be discovered. It is already there. That will reveal itself.
Gurudev, how can we fuel this eagerness?
It comes through the process of devotional service. It comes. It will be manifest. It is already there. But the devotional service gradually brings out these qualities in us. And we also have to try and aspire to engage ourselves in devotional service. That is our part. And Bhakti Devi, by giving us the first two gifts, Suvada, first is Kleshagni and Suvada. These are her gifts. And these are all transcendental gifts. Only transcendence can actually mitigate and completely abolish fear and anxiety and suffering. Nothing else. No material process or element can destroy suffering and anxiety and fear. It has to be transcendental, which is our true nature. And Subhada is again transcendental in nature, auspiciousness, but the auspiciousness is not a material auspiciousness, mundane auspiciousness, not mundane happiness, but spiritual. So by giving us that, by giving us both, she is facilitating the growth of taste. So once we have acquired a attraction for taste, for spiritual things, then naturally the greed for it increases. To have more. So eagerness is actually, it's not the correct translation. It's greed. Lolam, the word lolam in that verse that you are quoting, Krishna Bhakti, this called lolam. Mulya ekalam lolam. Lolam means greed. Of course, there's an element of eagerness also there. So the point is, it is by the gift of Bhakti Devi that all these jewels, all these wonderful qualities began to manifest.
And Gurudev, does suffering helps in developing this greed?
Yes, at a certain level, certainly. Suffering helps in a negative way, not in a positive way, but it helps in a negative way because we don't want it. The positive way would be greed for something which is positive. But suffering is something we want to reject. So it's a negative influence which also helps us to become motivated.
Yes, thank you, Gurudev. I have another question. I came across a statement that actually no superlative is suitable for us, even not thinking oneself to be the most fallen. And regarding this, it said that Prabhupada once made a statement to a devotee who said, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada should have said, you are nothing, you are nothing most. So you are in no regard, you are the most. Not in the positive, not on the negative. So on the other hand, we hear the Acharya singing, Narottam Das sings in his songs, there's none as fallen as me. How to understand this?
Well, it depends on who is saying it. You see, when Narottam Das Thakur says it, he means it. He's feeling it. But when we say it, it is more out of an ego. It's an expression of our ego. I'm the most fallen. It's just a way of saying that, oh, please, give me all your attention. I'm the most fallen. So, in that sense, it is simply to get some attention, to some la puja pratishtha. I'm the most this, I'm the most that. So Prabhupada said, you're most nothing, nothing. I know that story. So Prabhupada was speaking to a particular person with a particular mood. So we have to also think not in such terms unless we are feeling it. This is something much one feels it. And out of actually feeling that, when words emanate to describe our feeling, that rings real and honest. Otherwise, it's simply a, hollow remark, shallow.
Yes, I understand this, Gurudev, but on the other hand, we are also told to artificially practice characteristics like humility, even if we don't have it. And it's
So
said
then, that's true. We are told to practice, not speak about it.
Okay. So this expression is this method of expressing it, even if we are not what we say, if we have not realized it. Can't this be also a means to develop it? Is it always then coming from the false ego if we express it?
To others, yes.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
If we express it to others.
Yes. Then yes.
Yes. If you keep it to yourself, if you're most fallen, then shut up. Keep it to yourself. Why do you have to tell everyone I'm the most fallen? What is it? Does that make you more fallen? No, that makes you more proud.
Yes. So this is the difference between imitating and following
Exactly.
the footsteps.
Exactly. Yeah. There is a tendency amongst devotees. I'm the most fallen, and this and that.
Yes, definitely good, because we also read about it all the time. So,
but we don't have to speak to others about it.
Yes. Yes.
You read it and take to heart and try to live according to it. That's enough.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol?
Yeah, just one thing I want to say.
Yes.
That in Bhagavad-gītā chapter 2 verse 62, there is mentioned that while one contemplates the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for those things. So similarly, one can say that while contemplating the objects related to Krishna, a person develops attachment and eventually lolyam, isn't it?
Yes.
Just the key thing is the contemplation, and then that results into attachment.
With the proper knowledge. Without sambandha gyan, one cannot.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
This is when the Lord Krishna so desires, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Srila Prabhupada blesses us. We shall get to hear Harikatha very soon tomorrow morning. And I thank all of you for your patient hearing. And I beg for forgiveness from all of you for any mistakes I may have committed. Hare Krishna. And let us also now once again offer a most humble obeisance at the lotus feet of Srila Krishna Dvaipayan, Srila Vyasadeva, at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and at the lotus feet of Sri Arjuna, his eternal associate, and at the lotus feet of all of the Lord's eternal associates. Let us also offer our most humble respects to the book, Sri Bhagavad-gītā As It Is, and at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.